So if you guys have ever had to actualize a job in Showbiz, you know how tedious this process can be. I am in Showbiz right now, and I am about to import an entire job's worth of actuals, every line, every PO, every amount, and it's going to take like 5 seconds to do it. So we're going to fire it, and that's it. Everything has been put in here. No clicking across menus, no navigating line by line, one file, one import for everything. And you can see here it's listed in the summary. If we go into the budget itself, you can see all of it is listed in the detail lines down here. We'll go across to some other accounts. You'll see everything in there for our prop rentals. And then if we go to location expenses, everything's populated across here. So if you've never used Showbiz Budgeting, quick orientation, it is one of the industry standards for commercial budgeting. A lot of production companies run it in addition to programs like Hot Budget or Saturation Budgeting. And this has some genuinely strong features that I still appreciate. The phase structure is one of them. So for example, we've got our phases here, which are the bid against the working, and then we can see the variance that's going on between the two of them. But the thing that I think makes it particularly friendly towards producers and production managers when you are in the midst of production is the detail line, especially for use in the working phases. So for example, when you're in Excel, one of these cells can only hold a single number. But say, for example, that number is made up of 3, 4, 5 different costs. You're going to end up doing the math manually or trying to bury it somewhere in the note within Excel over here. In Showbiz, what you can actually do is put dedicated detail lines into a section so that you know exactly what makes up the total number. So, for example, this locations is 24,800. So let's just say we do location costs, sample 1 flat, 15,000. We'll put that in there, and then let's just repeat a couple more. So now if I go to this line and I'm like, oh man, we're $20,000 over budget, what is making up that working amount? I can go in here and clearly see, oh, here are the 3 costs that make up that total number, as opposed to having to put the number in here and then go over here and write 3x 15,000. And granted, it would rarely be as simple as 3x 15,000. It'll be like, oh, $400 here, $359.42 here, $12,000 here. This makes it so that I can clearly see every expense and it auto calculates in one summary row, and I know exactly where I stand at any given moment. But that is not why we are here. Today we are talking about actuals. So one of the places where Showbiz does lose me is its native actualization feature, and this is honestly where something like Hot Budget has an edge because it is Excel based. So entering and moving data around just feels more natural. Showbiz has its own interface, but this is what it looks like. So when you do it, it's going to pop up and it's going to give you this window as you saw before with all this information where you have to choose the phase, which is based on whatever one you happen to be active in. The account, if you happen to be in the account already, it will pop up with that account number. Then you have to choose, is it going to be a projection, an open invoice, a time card, petty cash? Let's just say that this is going to be a projection. You'll have to assign the date. So let's say I know that the date is going to be today. Let's put that in there. Then I'm going to put the invoice number if I want to. Then I would have to go in and assign a PO number to it. So we'll go in here and let's just say it's going to be Archive Films LA. It'll assign all of that. Let's say that it's a mileage cost. We're going to put one flat rate at, $95. Tab over there. Terms, net 30 if we want to. And then we see that it populates down here. So natively, every transaction has its own series of clicks and keystrokes. And on a job with 40 or 50 POs and several hundred transactions, that's a meaningful chunk of time doing pure data entry. And it's more tedious versus something like Excel where, yeah, you are using tabs and moving around with that. But in Excel, at the very least, you can press things like enter and you can navigate around with the arrow keys, which you can't do in this. You either have to navigate manually back to it. In Excel, you can use keystrokes, but here you kind of have to navigate manually if you need to go backwards. So there is actually a better way to do this that is built right into Showbiz, and it allows you to import actuals from a .csv file. What that means is you can build everything in Excel first. So let's go ahead and open this PO log, and we will bring it over here. You can build everything in here. It's a lot faster. It's a lot easier. It's a lot more intuitive. And then you can push it into Showbiz in one shot. And the principal thing to note for these are the line headers. Showbiz is very particular about this. And the ones that matter are going to be line, ID, type, pay ID, date, PO num, PCENV, vendor, description, and total. Each of these numbers right here will map to a corresponding category in the detail window that we saw right in here. So these are going to be very important. If you get these wrong, the import would fail. And a couple of things worth knowing, you can build this in an Excel file, a .xlsx file, but it needs to be converted to a .csv in order for it to import correctly. So if you just take a look here, you'll see that I've got all my line numbers mapped out in the line column. ID is usually where you might put something like the invoice number. Pay ID is actually going to be the identification. So for example, if you have, an Amex with the last 4 digits, if it was paid by bank or Zelle or Venmo, you would put all of that information in here. Dates of the transaction, self-explanatory. Purchase order numbers, self-explanatory. The PC envelope header is unique because if this is populated, say, for example, right here by the initials of the crew member, that tells Showbiz that it needs to not go into the purchase orders tab here, but it needs to populate into the petty cash tab instead. So that's a key thing to understand. If you have the PC envelope cell populated, you don't need to have anything in the PO number column. Vendor, again, self-explanatory, who this payment was made to, description, what it was for, and finally the total is going to be the cost that you put in there. Another thing that I should note, if you were using a payroll software company like Wrapbook actually has their own export template that is specific to payroll, which does have a lot of similar column numbers to these, but has additional ones that are specifically meant for the time card import format. So bearing in mind, this log is specifically designed for your purchase orders and PC envelope transactions. There is a way to easily replicate the payroll software one, but since it already comes pre-populated from Wrapbook, I've never really had to build one from scratch. So let's show the full import from the beginning. Our PO log looks good. We're going to save it. We're going to go to our detail browser. We're going to click File. We're going to click Import. We're going to click Yes. When this window pops up, what you want to make sure you do is you want to have the file format set as generic spreadsheet, CSV, or TSV. You'll click on that. You want your target phase to be your actual. Then you'll go and click Import. It's going to take us to the folder. This one went right to my budget folder where my PO log is. I'm going to go PO log Apex V1. I'm going to take a look at it. Everything looks nice and clean and organized. So we're going to press Open. Then it will say imported 209 records. We'll press OK. And now we can see that everything is populated in here as it should be. Rates are good. Quantity defaults to 1 unless specified. PO number, you can see all the purchase orders are listed in here in the log, which is exactly what we wanted. We'll see that all of our petty cash initials are in here. You will need to go in and assign the names and the departments, and then you'll also need to manually do any transfers that you want, which kind of just shows the exchange of money between parties. But overall, all the main transactions are in here. And again, if we go back to the detail browser, we'll see all the types that they are categorized as. We have checks, we have petty cash, we have open invoices, we have digital bank transactions. Those are in there as well. So this is exactly what we're looking for. And then what I will do is I will go through line by line, making sure that what I have in the actual matches either what I had in my bid or my working, and reconciling any discrepancies or any additions that need to be added. And that is the whole actualization import process done very, very quickly. Now, one thing that I should note is that I did not build this CSV manually. Getting a full job's worth of actuals into this format from a folder full of invoices and receipts is something that I have mostly handed off to both some custom terminal scripts as well as AI. And that is going to be a full video on its own. I'm putting it together. It's a big process that I've spent a lot of time building and refining. And I've gotten it to a point that it is genuinely useful to me, but I just need to put it in a way that is cohesive and looks good on camera. But this is the ultimate landing spot for all of that information so that it can cleanly be put into my budget, and then I can send it off to my producer for review. But whatever method you use to get your actuals into a spreadsheet, this is the method to get it into Showbiz. Remember, it is the header rows that matter the most in this. And then one other detail that I did not mention earlier is the classification for the types. So there is a shorthand that tells Showbiz what type of transaction it is. So INV is short for invoice. What else do we have here? EFT is for electronic transactions. CC is for credit card. Let's see here. CHK is for check. TC will be for time cards. Petty cash actually doesn't have a type because it is already indicated by using the petty cash envelope header. And then one that they used to use was PRJ for projected, but now for some reason that only defaults to invoice. So instead, usually what I will do if I need a projected cost, I will put placeholder in the ID. That way it's very easy for me to search in the ID column which ones are projected, and then I can manually reclassify them as projected transactions in Showbiz Budgeting. So as I said, all of this will be in a link in the description with instructions. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.